of course. So we do welcome your phone calls throughout the afternoon. We are focused in on a few things here, and we're going to get to a big Titan story coming up here in the next few seconds. But before I do, let's just set the stage here with some of the things happening across the sports world that I've noticed here. We're going to start with the Stanley Cup Finals. It was the Florida Panthers. Darren tried to tell you. Darren is somewhere smiling ear to ear. Darren, if you're listening, I don't know if he's listening, but if you're listening, Darren, you tried to tell the people, and it happened. The Panthers win it last night in overtime, 3-2 over the Golden Knights of Las Vegas. That series is now 2-1. Vegas is leading 2-1 in that series, and they will press on to the next game, which I believe is tomorrow night. They're from Florida, and Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final will get going here, and it's a pivotal Game 4 for both teams here, as that series is a 2-1 advantage, so we'll see what happens with that. The NBA will be returning to action here in the NBA Finals. Of course, Denver is now leading that series 2-1, but they are having their next series, or next game rather, coming up tonight as the Denver Nuggets take on the Miami Heat. That game starts at around 7:30 down there from South Beach, and we can see if the Heat can really get back in the series. If the Heat can't win tonight, it's over, y'all. Listen, it might be over anyway, but if the Heat can't win tonight, it's over for real. So just heads up on that particular NBA series. It should be very interesting to watch. The other thing that's happening out there, and we'll get to the softball and the baseball a little bit later, is the Tennessee Titans finishing up their OTAs over there at St. Thomas Sports Park. And they are looking forward to hosting DeAndre Hopkins this particular weekend. Now, DeAndre Hopkins, of course, is the 31-year-old wide receiver, last played football with the Arizona Cardinals, and before that with the Houston Texans. He is on his way to Canton, Ohio, I believe. He's got the numbers to do it. But he still has a little bit of game left, we think, and he could be headed here to Nashville to play for the Titans. They're going to meet with him coming up this weekend. But it's also been reported that DeAndre Hopkins is going to be meeting with the New England Patriots as well. Okay, so the Titans might have a little bit of competition. Now, he's supposed to come here first to Nashville and then eventually head up to New England and meet with Bill Belichick and the Patriots. So, do the Titans have the inside track? You know, sometimes these things go like this. Sometimes they don't let you leave the building without a contract. Sometimes they put a contract right there and there's no need for the visit. They cancel the visit because you've already signed. So I don't know if the Titans are going to go that strong for DeAndre Hopkins, but they need help in the wide receiver room, and DeAndre Hopkins is available and has connections there in the building. So we'll see if the Titans are able to pull this off and sign DeAndre Hopkins, or if they're just, kicking the tires and, moving on to elsewhere. So we'll find out here over the weekend, that is for sure. One player that is in the building is number 31, Kevin Byard. The mayor of Murfreesboro is his nickname because he played college football at MTSU. He has been a star for the Titans, two-time All-Pro or Pro Bowler, all of that. He signed a big contract a little while ago. The Titans asked him to take a pay cut earlier in the year. That has been well reported. I believe back in March, they asked him to take a pay cut as they're trying to get more players in under the salary cap. Kevin Byard declined. Then he didn't show up for the voluntary portion of workouts that happened a few weeks ago. He was not here. It's the first time he has not been here since he is signed. A lot of people would think maybe it had something to do with the fact that you asked him to take a pay cut is why he is not here for the voluntary portion. Now, he was there for the mandatory portion, but he wasn't there for the voluntary portion, and people took that as some type of point or some type of stand that Kevin Byard was making. Kevin Byard spoke to the media less than 24 hours ago. He says that is not the case. Here's the Titans All-Pro safety.
The whole OTAs and things like that. I had been in communication with the coaching staff really early in the offseason before, obviously, all this news and all this stuff that came out, that, I was going to have my own plan to be able to train on my own. Obviously, every player on this team is in a different stage of their career. I am very comfortable, obviously, being with Shane, being with the coach staff for 5 years, Shane being our coordinator for the last 4, very comfortable within the defense. I had stayed in communication with the coaches this entire offseason about any new stuff that we had, any new nuances that was coming out within the defense. But I had been enjoying training on my own and felt it was very important. And it really was never any doubt from the coaches and my end that, I wasn't going to be here for minicamp. I knew I was going to be here and be the same player that I always been, be the same leader that I always will be. So I kind of just want to put that out there. I know you guys got some other questions, but just want to put that out there.
So you're saying that before all the stuff with the contract came up, you'd already decided that you wanted to train on your own as opposed to being here every day?
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of be able to, obviously, being in tune with what was going on as far as in the meetings, but as far as the strength and conditioning part of it, I had already gotten to the really good groove on my own. I had started working out probably 2 weeks after the Super Bowl on my own. And I kind of just wanted to keep that routine, keep that training going. And I felt really good out here today, these past couple of days with my condition and everything. So I'll continue to do that, obviously, through the summer and get ready to have a really good year. I guarantee you I would not be the last player, and I haven't been the first player to come to about a pay cut. I let my agent and the organization or obviously Rand and the GM handle those things. I felt it was very important for myself, though, and for me to come here and be a leader and be the person I've always been, making plays, communicating, and things like that. So, and that's who I'm always going to be. And I just felt that was very important for me. I feel like it's been really great. I feel good. I feel great. I feel fast. And like I said, and still being able to be in tune with everything was going on with the coaching and all that stuff. I feel really good. I feel really good about, being in meetings the past couple of days and being around Coach Harris. I mean, his energy is very, very contagious. I really love the way he's coaching, just energy just on the sideline. And obviously bringing in some of the guys like Sean. I actually hung out with him before, mini camps started, so I've been able to be around the guys. So it's been pretty good.
The relationship with Rand Carthon, like he's known as a people guy. How has that been for you developing that relationship with him?
Yeah, I've had conversations with him before. This was in February. So when I told you I started working out probably 2 weeks after the Super Bowl, I was coming here working out with Frank. And obviously when Rand got the job, he came in the weight room. We kind of chopped it up a little bit. We had some conversations and things like that. Obviously I was congratulating him and things like that. And obviously being away from the building and doing different things in the community. I was out in L.A., then NFL broadcast boot camp, and some guys that knew him. Just everybody spoke highly of the guy, spoke about how he's a people's person, how, obviously he came from the football background, undrafted free agent, and kind of worked his way up. Can't do nothing but salute a guy like that and just congratulate him.
You talked about having individual conversations with you and Derek and Ryan. Obviously, I assume you don't want to get into it, but just how did that assuage you? Did it make you feel better at all?
No, so like I said, obviously I'm not going to get in Derek's business or Tannehill's business. But the conversation I just had with him was just on a personal level. It had nothing to do with that. So like I said, the conversations I had with him, they was really good. And like I said, I think Rand's a really good guy. I think he was a really good addition to this organization just by who he is. And, Vrays, we always talk about bringing in people with high character, and I think he's a high character person based off the conversations and the time I just spent around him.
Kevin, do you think being here this week marks some kind of finality with them considering doing anything with your contract? Like, is this a mark of you being here and being ready for the year, or do you think it's still an ongoing process?
Man, I just control the things that I can control. Because like I said, there was no doubt me coming here. So I didn't want to, this is not a whole thing with me coming here with just I'm here. It wasn't nothing like that. This was always the plan. And I'm going to continue to work my plan throughout this offseason. So, yeah, it really had nothing to do with nothing like that.
Next week.
I don't want to get into all that right now, PK.
I would say a lot of players in your position, being a vet, doing everything right, being a consistent player, it'd be hard for people to come to them and say, hey, can you take a pay cut? Like, what's happened in your past that built you to be the man you are to kind of push that off and say, I'm just going to be here for my team. I'm going to continue to be KB.
Yeah, because that's just who I am. Everything that I've, over my entire life, over my entire career, I just try to be consistent on the field and off the field. Don't get too high, don't get too low. I actually, had a meeting with the group earlier this morning, and we kind of had a word of the day or whatever, and I just, gratitude is always a word that I try to wake up with every single day. Blessed to be in this building, blessed to be around this team, blessed to be around this organization. I had a conversation with you guys on Clean Out Day saying that, how much I love this organization. This is my legacy and me being here. So no matter what happens, man, I'm just grateful for every opportunity that I get.
Are you as happy here doing what you're doing with the Titans as you have been the last 7 years?
100%. So like I said, man, I just take every day for what it is. and not try to think too far in the future or think about the past, man. I just try to focus on what's in front of me. And what's been in front of me this week, obviously, with minicamp and everything, it's been really great. It's been really good to be around the guys just flying around making plays.
When the Jeff contract got done, Rand said, what this symbolizes is that we're going to draft our guys, we're going to develop them, and if they do the right things, we're going to reward them. You're basically the poster child for that. Is there a little different message when they come to you and ask you to take a pay cut?
I don't know about a different message. Obviously, Jeff, he's earned his contract. I mean, his contract extension. I was very happy for him. I obviously texted him immediately, gave him congratulations. And that's just what it was about, man. Like I said, I don't think that, the pay cuts and stuff like that has anything to do with, who we're going to pay, who we're not going to pay. So like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, I just try to focus on what I can do. I don't try to do anything else and try to focus on the what ifs and things like that. I just take for whatever's in front of me and just try to take it in stride.
Kevin, you had kind of done everything the team had asked for, whether it was on the field, whether it was off the field, or whatever. I guess so my question is, I mean, was there any kind of a feeling from you that maybe you were being taken for granted a little bit when they asked you to take a pay cut when you have done so much, pretty much everything they'd asked? I
mean, like I said, I'm just gonna keep being who I am. And whatever happens. But I'm just gonna keep being the person that I always been, being the same leader, being the same player, because that's what it's at the bottom line. I'm here to be the best safety that I could possibly be for this organization, and I'm gonna continue to do that.
You talk about different ways you can improve, what you can do better. When you look back at last year, how do you think you played, and what's maybe next? What do you need to do better this year?
Well, I just think for myself personally, there was a lot of things I can improve. I think just from every single level, I could have made a lot more plays. I mean, I feel like, I made plays last year, but I can always make more. Obviously, especially looking at our, secondary play and the numbers and things like that, those things have to improve. But like I said, I think with the addition of Coach Harris, some different things we're doing on the back end, I think we have the ability to be elite this year. And I fully 100% believe that with the guys that we have and just the conversations we're having in the back end, doing some different things. I'm very confident in that.
And Kevin, you spoke of Coach Harris's energy and the things that he brings. How does it help you, a veteran on this team? Has that changed anything in how you approach the game? Have you picked up anything from him?
It doesn't change anything for me. I always try to bring energy every single day, try to motivate the guys, try to inspire them by not only just my vocal leadership, but my actions as well. But it's always great to have your coach out there flying around, having fun. If a guy makes a play, he's running down 30 yards down the field, excited. And he's played the game. He played the game for 8 years. So I think, same thing I talk about, was very easy to buy into the things he's saying because he's done it before. He's done it at a high level. So it's been excited to work with him.
As you decided to do your own thing at OTAs, do you think there's any level of psychological thought about what they asked you to do, or was there any advice from your agent or anything like that?
No, it wasn't, because like I said, obviously I didn't communicate with my agent that early, but I had already talked to the coaches that I was going to train on my own and do my own thing. So, no, it was no psychological thing. I've seen Vrabel multiple times this offseason, on the golf course, and we just chopped it up, having fun with each other. So nothing psychologically changes for me, because at the end of the day, my job is always to be the best safety I can possibly be for this organization. So it doesn't change anything. I just continue to train as hard as I can and try to be the best player I can be.
So you made the decision as far back as February, March?
Earlier than that.
What was the thing about training by yourself that you thought would be beneficial?
Like I said, man, like I said, every player, they're in a different stage, of their careers. We've had guys on this team that, reported from minicamp or whatever it may be. I just felt that was going to be my decision this year, very early in the off season, and I feel like it's turned out great for me as far as where I am with my body and my training and how good I feel. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't missing anything as far as in the meetings and things like that. I just wanted to be able to, I got my trainer out here as far as that I work out with. So in the strength conditioning part, I wasn't missing anything at all, and obviously in the meetings, I wasn't missing anything. So.
Did you change anything in terms of how you trained being off on your own, as far as your physique or your conditioning, diet, anything like that?
Well, so working out so early in the off season, which was obviously middle of February, I had already was ramping all the way up. And usually when you coming into April, they kind of take things back a little bit because guys are just reporting. But I'm already full speed going, and I didn't want to change that. I wanted to be able to keep going and keep pushing myself. I wouldn't say just to a different level, but I want to keep going with my plan. And like I said, the coaches were receptive of it. And I feel like it's shown over the past couple of days that I'm still in shape and not missing a beat at all.
You're a great communicator, and you give us clarity on a lot of things. You had to know how it was going to look or how it was going to be perceived based on the pay cut request and then you not being here. Were you tempted at all to clarify that, or what was it like to know that the rumblings were you were somehow upset with the franchise, therefore you weren't here?
Nah, I didn't feel the need to clarify anything. You know, that's one of the reasons why, you know, I really wasn't just like active on trying to jump on the next podcast and, you know, and stuff like that, or getting on social media, deleting, like all that's nonsense. Well, at least for me personally, I know players have different ways of how they handle things. I didn't see a need to do any of that because I didn't want to make it a story, make it a thing, because it's really not a thing in my mind. Like I said, every single day I wake up in the morning with gratitude, and I just want to be the best player and the best person I could possibly be because that's the only thing I can focus on. Control what you can control because that's been my mentality, that's been my character my entire life, to control what you can control. You can't control if Kentucky takes your scholarship. You got to go to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't control those things. You just got to work on yourself and try to be a better player and a better person. That's it.
With Logan, Ryan?
Yeah, I was.
What were you guys doing in terms of, is he back here too and you're working with him?
Nah, so Logan was in town doing some media stuff. He was on Good Morning Football, and he was telling me how good it went. So he got some people helping him out doing some media stuff. So he came here in Nashville and did some media shows and things like that. He hit me out here, let's work out together. So like I said, I already been training on my own, so he came in, got some work in with me. We kind of hung out a little bit, and that's when obviously him and Sean played together, and that's when we kind of made that connection. We hung out a little bit. So now it was good to see him, man. Me and Logan, we talk a lot. We talk all the time. We actually was in Hawaii for the NFLPA, our annual meetings, and we hung out there. So good friend of mine and a longtime friend of mine.
Sean kind of remind you of him in any way in terms of just the way he kind of presents himself and the leadership aspect too?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I want to compare both of them because they're both a little different. Obviously, Logan was a really good leader. He done a lot of things for us, being really versatile. They're definitely both versatile in that way. I think Sean, he's a really good leader for our cornerback room. But at the same time, he listens. He wants to learn. He wants to be coached. And that's the type of players that we want to bring into the organization. So I think he's been a good fit for us.
How different does this offense look to you?
How different does it look? Well, as far as the scheme and everything, it's definitely a little different. But I would say that some guys that, you know, impressed me. I know the running back Spears, he's been really good. Traylon looks like a different beast this year for sure. I think he's just playing with a lot of confidence. I really like that from him, taking that next step, because we're going to need him to take that next step this year to be that guy. But at the end of the day, no matter what, I mean, I think just with quarterbacks and everybody, I think everybody's just firing. But, you know, we all know OTAs, man. It's about learning. Everybody's out here learning, try to, you know, whether they're getting a new offense together. As far as the defense, we're trying to pick up things. So it's always a little bit back and forth between the offense and the defense. But I really like the way they're looking right now. And like I said, I think they'll do nothing but keep getting better and keep going this way. First of all,
Kevin Byard, the Titans All-Pro safety, boy, he said a lot there, talked about a lot there. And if you would like, we can get your reaction to it when we come back on the other side. This is the McFarland Show, Sports Radio 560 WNSR. We are Nashville Sports Radio.
Attention high school sports fans, are you an armchair official? You know, the parent or fan who constantly yells at the referees and loves to let everyone know just how bad you think they are. Well, if you think you could do better, then get in the game and prove it. It's time for you to suit up and make the calls where they actually count. Every sport in Tennessee needs more officials. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Okay, fellas, game's on the line. Let's get it right. Frank, you were closest. Was it fair or foul?
I don't know. I was distracted.
Distracted? By what?
Well, you know, it's a loud crowd. These lights are awful bright. I just won big on a Tennessee Lottery instant game. And again, the lighting here, somebody ought to say something.
You've got new instant games?
Yeah.
Enough to share?
Of course.
Fair ball!
Have a ball with new instant games from the Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
With the new hot games from the Tennessee Lottery, cold hard cash is waiting to take your summer fun to the next level. And with sizzling top prizes of up to $500,000, these games could have what you need to make every day fun in the sun.
Oh, yeah. This summer is going to be a scorcher. Grab the new hot games today at your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer. But careful, they're hot. The Tennessee Lottery. Game-changing fun. Please play responsibly.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $16. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
It's a Bill King Show.
Pac-12 football is a joke. It's a laughing stock. It has been left behind by Father Time a long time ago. It has not been prominent in a decade at least. And do you want to know why? God-forsaken leadership. That's why.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
The McFarland Show. Video streaming live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube from the Strike and Spare studio.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Mr. Big Voice Guy. We are streaming on all of those services and proud to do so here from the Strike and Spare family studio. I am Justin McFarland. Darren McFarland has the afternoon off. It's still the McFarland Show, though, on Sports Radio 560 WNSR, even though there's just one McFarland. It's okay. Before we went to break, we heard from the Titans All-Pro Kevin Byard. And Kevin Byard was talking about lots of different things. One of the things he got into, though, was the fact that he's going to be here like he's always been here, he says. And also, he kind of waved off or didn't want to comment about the possibility of being traded and being traded to another team. By the way, if you want to give us a call, you can do so. 615-844-5600. That's 615-844-5600. Just because Darren is not here does not mean that we can't get phone calls, text messages, all those things. You can text us, you can call us at those numbers, and we've got you. Whatever you want to get into, we can do it. Kevin Byard talked about the fact that he was going to be here, or was proud to be here, and wanted to be here and for the Tennessee Titans. And he said before that he wants to retire a Titan. Having covered this football team for 8 years in the beginning, and then having watched this football team for a number of years afterwards, I can tell you that it very seldom ends wonderfully with a player playing 10, 12, 13 years in the National Football League for one team. As great as Kevin Byard has been, there is a real possibility that he will not be here coming up here in a couple of years. It's just as real as it can be. Now, in the past, we have had some painful departures here. People we thought should be Titans for life just weren't here anymore one day. Eddie George comes to mind. We have to remember the Eddie George year for the Dallas Cowboys. Steve McNair, another one. Watching Steve McNair, Derek Mason, and Samari Rolle all put on Ravens uniforms, I think still gives some Titans fans shakes right now, if you're from that particular generation. And, watching Chris Johnson move on. to other teams like the New York Jets and the Arizona Cardinals, I think is something that was tough for a lot of fans. And obviously, the latest one was A.J. Brown moving on to the Eagles. So, is it possible that Kevin Byard as well may not be here in, a couple of years? Despite all the warm feelings and the mayor of Murfreesboro and the good story that he is, Titans fans, I'm telling you, you just want to prepare yourself, because in sports, it's tough to start and finish a legendary career in this day and age of free agency with one team. It just really is. So you can have that number 31 jersey and cherish it, but, take in the memories while it's here, because it may not last. It may not last, just maybe not. So we'll see. Let's get into the Titans, another section of the ball. We just talked about Kevin Byard on defense. Let's talk about the offense. The offense has a brand new coordinator. His name is Tim Kelly. He was the passing game coordinator last year for the Titans. This year, he's taking on the full role as offensive coordinator. This is what he had to say after the last days of OTAs.
We're going to continue to need to see improvement from everybody, right? It's fun to come out here and throw the ball as much as we have been, but it's not real football. We don't have pads on. There's obviously different rules and things along those lines that we're abiding by. But with the wide receivers, it's been a complete change in terms of the pass offense. So they've been doing a good job really coming out and learning and being clean with their assignments. For the most part, we're coming out of here and everyone knows what to do, and they're going out there and doing a good job and executing at a high level. The thing that's been fun to watch has really been the chemistry that's kind of been built between the different quarterbacks and the different wide receivers. So, the tight ends and the running backs, we can put them in that same category also. So, they're doing a good job, doing everything we're asking them to do. We've thrown a lot at them. Obviously, yesterday you guys saw some first, second, third down. We're going to move into the red area today. So, again, they're hearing a bunch of stuff for the first time. They're going to be out there executing a bunch of different concepts for the first time. And I'm pleased with how they've been approaching it and how they've been executing it.
The quarterback position, what are things you like about what you're seeing from Ryan, Malik, and Will, and with, 6 days left of work, what do you need to see here as you close things out?
Yeah, from all of them, right? Every day coming out here and just showing improvement in whatever area they're really focusing on. Asked them at the beginning of whenever we got together the first time in April, I think. I'm really just trying to pick one thing each day to come out and improve on. So for them, that's going to be unique to each individual. And as long as they continue to show that improvement and whatever they're focusing on throughout that day, that's good, and that's what we need. All three of them have done a really good job of showing command in the huddle. We're asking them to do some different things at the line of scrimmage, and they're all three of them have been doing a really good job and have been clean in that aspect.
How much might this offense feature motion, and what can you gain from that as opposed to having people still?
Yeah, I think obviously if we feel like that's what's best for us in against that opponent, we're going to utilize it. Motions can do a lot of things for you. They can they can provide you advantage in terms of leverage, in terms of grass, in terms of numbers, cause communication or cause the defense to communicate. But it can also do some things that where if you don't get an expected look, it can kind of throw a wrench in your plan. So, as a coaching staff, we're doing a good job of making sure that we're going through and studying, how different defenses kind of approach and handle different types of motions. And if we feel like it's going to be advantageous for us, we're going to utilize it.
How's Racy done in terms of becoming more well-rounded? It seems like that his role in the past has been to either run a deep route and track a deep ball or clear out a safety for somebody else. Mm-hmm. How's he doing as far as adding to his toolkit?
Yeah, similar to all those other guys. He's coming out here and made a good catch yesterday on a shallow on a third down. Came running across the field. Was available. Was right where the quarterback needed him to be. Racy's been doing a good job over the past however many days we've been out here.
What's kind of gone into your decision on who gets work when at the quarterback position as far as how the reps have been going with Malik and Will?
Yeah, those two have been getting equal amount of reps. And really, we've been trying to make sure that each guy, Ryan, Malik, and Will, that all three of them are getting what they need. So it's not, slanted in any direction. Trying to be as fair as we can to make sure that everyone's allowed to, again, continue to learn the offense, continue to improve, and allows us to kind of to see where they're at as players.
When a guy's got a good fastball like Will does, how do you go about kind of working on taking some off in the appropriate situations and working on touch?
Yeah, I think that's part of learning how to be a professional quarterback. Yeah, he can sit there and he can rip it. He's got a strong arm, but it's also, to use the baseball reference, having a different pitch in your bag too if you need it. Knowing, and it's not just having it; it's knowing when to use it, and the location of the balls and all that thing, and all that. That's a big adjustment for quarterbacks coming from the SEC, coming and playing in the NFL. It's a totally different game. The rules are totally different. Obviously, it's a different animal in terms of the speed of the defense and speed of the guys that you're throwing to. So he's been doing a good job, learning the different throws that he needs to use, when and where to use them.
Levis, he's talked about.
You mentioned the biggest difference in the offense is coming mostly from that passing game. Looking at the wide receiver corps specifically, what are they doing differently now as they're learning than they did a year ago?
Yeah, it's just different route concepts. In terms of I would say just the biggest thing is just being able to utilize different route concepts. Everyone runs similar routes, okay, in terms of their ability to run an individual route, but we may be pairing them up a little bit differently than we have in the past. And as you guys have heard from a lot of people that have come up here and talk to you, we're calling it different things too. So there's a little bit of a process that goes through with that. But yeah, like with all the different techniques and any different concepts that we may be running, again, they've been spending time in the classroom, talking it over with the quarterbacks, talking it over with the wide receiver coach, Coach Moore, and making sure that everyone's on the same page when we get out here.
With Levis, he's discussed like higher standards, but also this being an experimental period for him, and he's making mistakes. How have you seen him just kind of bounce back from those mistakes and learn from them?
Yeah, he's done a good job at that. Now's the time to make the mistakes, right? And so far, Will has not been, an offender in terms of being a guy who makes repeat mistakes. So that's the biggest things. It's all well and good to come out here and make mistakes as long as we're learning from them. And he's done a good job doing that. And we have not seen the repeat mistakes show up.
Eric was talking yesterday about how not too much is changing in his role. Just is there a challenge when you're developing a new offense of not wanting to lose what works for a guy who has been successful?
Absolutely. Like I said, I think Coach Vrabel hit on it at the end of the year. We've mentioned it a couple times up here. Like, we've done a lot of good things here on the offensive side of the ball. Was the production what it needed to be? Last year, no, but it's not all broken, right? So being able to utilize the skill sets of the guys that we have and being able to continue to do the things that we've done well here is something that we need to do in order to make sure that we're as successful as we want to be.
How do you balance Tyjae Spears being a rookie and not wanting to overwhelm him with all the things that he can do and is capable of with a unique skill set?
Yeah, we're going to give him as much as he can handle, just like we will with everyone. Again, that's part of this process now, is to see what can these guys physically and mentally handle. They've all done a good job of being able to kind of answer the bell whenever we put something new on their plate. So we're going to continue to do that.
In terms of the passing game, what are you seeing from Tyjae? Where was he, and maybe what kind of strides, if any, has he made?
Yeah, the athleticism he's able to use to be able to get in and out of breaks has been really good. He's been reliable. He's been clean in terms of his assignments, and when the ball's found him, he's made the play on the ball, which is a big deal. So again, looking to see some improvement from him today as we move down to the red area, and we'll see where his trajectory ends up going.
Coach, you talked about Tajay Spears and, of course, the versatility that he does have. Are there any other guys that do stick out to you as far as their versatility and the skill sets that they may be able to use in other areas of
Sure.
the offense?
I think we got guys that are versatile in Chig. I think Traylon's got versatility. Obviously, Tajay, those are just, Kyle Phillips, those are just a couple guys off the top of my head that all have different skill sets and provide us different tools to be able to kind of move around and use in order to try and score some points.
When you have a tackle like Dillard who is so athletic, does that change what you can do blocking scheme-wise when you have kind of an athlete-first, movement-first guy?
I mean, not really. We're going to ask him to do the same thing that, my big ugly brother did down here, and they're totally different animals.
Tim, with this being your second time around as an offensive coordinator, is it easier, do you take the lessons, that maybe, we all get better when we see things for a second time around. Can you point to anything that maybe you're doing differently or you wanted to do differently
Sure.
with a second chance?
Yeah, I would say being more confident in terms of my beliefs, in terms of what I believe I want this offense to look like, sticking to that. But in the same breath, not being too proud to take input from the different members of the coaching staff. I think we've got a great coaching staff. From Charles London to Justin Outen, with Haas, with Tony, with Rob. All these guys have a wealth of knowledge and a wealth of experience in different systems, and so it's been great for me to be able to trust those guys and to be able to take their input, and all of us kind of put this thing together. Because obviously it's going to be a different deal, but it's going to be our deal. It's not mine. It's not any one person's. It's truly a collaboration of all those coaches in there, and I think that's probably the biggest take or the biggest difference from the first go around with it.
What's impressed you the most about maybe Charles London and maybe the influence he has on the quarterbacks?
Yeah, he's very smart. He's very intelligent, very even keeled. Which is probably a little different, different makeup than what I have. I'm probably, yell a little bit more than he does. But just the way he looks at it, and he's very intelligent in the way that he's able to relay that information to the quarterback. I think he puts it in a way to where, there's a lot of times where us as coaches, we make things more complicated than it has to be. And so if we're going to ask them to go out there and play quickly and play efficiently, we got to be able to present information to them in a way that's going to allow them to process it in an efficient manner. And he's done a great job with that with those guys.
How's the buy-in process been with guys like Derek and Ryan who've had success, obviously, under the way things were done before, as far as learning and adapting to the new system?
Yeah, I think that's obviously a better question for them. I don't want to speak for them. But from my viewpoint, it's been great. Ryan, from the different meetings that I've had with Ryan throughout the spring, he's come in here each and every day, open-minded, providing feedback, providing different ideas, and Derek's been the same way. So, obviously I think that question's better suited for them, but as far as from my vantage point, it's been great.
That is Tim Kelly. Tim Kelly is the new offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. He was talking a couple of days ago, just talking about where the team is at this point with this brand new offense. Now, is the offense honestly going to look any different under Tim Kelly than it did last year? I know a lot of people are saying they couldn't possibly be worse than what it was last year. Well, we're certainly going to find out. They're talking as if it's new. At least they're using some new terminology. They say it's different types of, wrinkles to it. So we'll see. We'll see in a few months. Plenty more when we come back. This is the McFarland Show, Sports Radio 560 WNSR. We are Nashville Sports Radio. Plenty more when we come back.
And now, Wise Guy Custom Builds LLC is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Please visit DAV.org and consider donating to the disabled U.S. veterans who need our help. This message is brought to you by Wise Guy Custom Builds LLC. For residential remodeling or home additions, give the pros a call today at 262-607-1165. That's 262-607-1165. Wise Guy Custom Builds LLC. They bring your dream space to life.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Post-COVID travel is on a surge. Many of you are traveling for fun because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Kurt Anderson is on the line with us. What do we have here in Nashville, Tennessee, in Peter Skoronski?
You got a throwback player. Say less, do more type of guy. Big 10 offensive lineman of the year this year. Physical. He wants to run the damn football. He's a great pass protector. He's like kind of the all-American kid. Really smart.
The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin on Nashville Sports Radio WNSR.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. For today, hazy sunshine, though to dissipate as we head into the latter part of the afternoon, the high 86. Mainly clear tonight, low 56. A bright sunny day for Saturday with temperatures near 90. Utilizing the resources of the WeatherBug Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Well, today it's just Justin. Darren is out, so I'm here holding it down at the Striking Spear Studios for WNSR. By the way, you can call us, 615-844-5600. You can also text us at 615-844-5600. Yes, Darren is not here, but it's okay. I promise you I'm fully versed on all kinds of things. I'm not as versed as Darren is on the Nashville Predators. I'll give you that much. But football, NBA, all that kind of stuff, I assure you we can get into it. Or if you just want to talk, I don't have to say anything back to you. You can just talk if you want to. And I'll listen to you. That happens quite a bit. 615-844-5600. So we can do it that way if you'd like. We were just hearing from the Tennessee Titans coaches and players a short time ago. And yes, they are bringing in DeAndre Hopkins coming up here this very weekend. DeAndre Hopkins, of course, is the 31-year-old wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. He's also going to be visiting the New England Patriots, we understand, this weekend as well. Other news from the NFL includes Dalvin Cook being released by the Minnesota Vikings. Now, why is that significant? Well, other than Derrick Henry, the best running back in football for the past, 3-4 years, has been a guy named Dalvin Cook. Now, other people can argue about the guy in Indianapolis. He's really good. There's another guy in Cleveland who's really good. Some people want to say Christian McCaffrey. I got you. But Dalvin Cook has been incredibly consistent for the Minnesota Vikings, and he is now out of there, gone. And the question is, where is he going to go next? I think a lot of people are wondering. Well, it depends on who's got the need and who's got the money. That is going to be the big key about where Dalvin Cook ends up. There's a lot of teams with need, but who's got the salary cap space and what kind of deal is he going to be asking for coming from the Minnesota Vikings? That is the unknown in all of this. But it's certainly intriguing to think about a guy like Dalvin Cook out there as a free agent for the from the Minnesota Vikings. And you have to wonder what in the world happened in Minnesota, where Dalvin Cook and the Minnesota Vikings just could not get together. It seemed like everything was great. Dalvin Cook coming, by the way, from Florida State. Here's the other thing about Dalvin Cook I wonder about, and I wonder this across the board. Dalvin Cook played his college football at Florida State. He's been playing indoors with the Minnesota Vikings for the last number of years. This is basically his entire pro career. I wonder what he would do in a cold weather city that was cold weather all the time, that didn't have a dome. Buffalo, for instance, has needed some oomph at running back. There was a lot of rumors about Derrick Henry going to Buffalo, which I don't think was ever going to happen because the Titans were never going to trade Derrick Henry in conference to a team that was really good. I just didn't see that whatsoever. So the question is, does Dalvin Cook end up possibly in Buffalo? But Buffalo's outdoors all the time in very cold weather. Dalvin Cook has never really done that. He's played at Florida State and the Vikings, and they have a dome. Just saying. I just wonder how he would do in a full-time cold weather city. We'll have to wait and see. If not, he can end up on the West Coast or down south. There's anywhere he can end up. He's a talented guy. He's still got plenty of tread left on the tire. We'll see where he decides to go. All right, when we come back, there's plenty more of the McFarland Show. You can give us a call, 615-844-5600. That's 615-844-5600. It's the McFarland Show on a Friday.
Hello, this is Philip Cox from Strike and Spare Family Entertainment. Are you looking for new and exciting things to do with the family during the spring and summer months? Thanks to Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers, you don't have to look any further. Sign up today for Kids Bowl Free, a summer pass starting in May where kids 15 and under receive 2 free games of bowling every day. You can also purchase a family pass that allows you to join the fun as well. Visit any of the 5 local Strike and Spare locations in Hendersonville, Murfreesboro, Donaldson, Hermitage, and Tusculum to register, or just visit kidsbowlfree.com/Strike and Spare. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Today on Hey Culligan's Smart Home, Smarter Water Softener, here's Kevin.
Hey Culligan, can a smart water softener lift those heavy salt bags for me?
Kevin, it can.
Wait, it can?
Yup, the smart high-efficiency water softener from Culligan can alert your dealer when the salt needs to be replaced, and they'll do it for you, so your water stays soft and you stay away from lifting the bags.
I mean, I could lift them if I wanted.
No judgment here, Kevin. We're happy to do it, and we're already on the way. Let us help you out with a free in-home water test with the local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
I've got a unique vacation idea for you that's right here in the United States. If you're ready for a vacation that's fun and downright affordable, listen up. It's driving distance for many of you, so no planes, no airline delays, no hassles. It's Branson, Missouri, the entertainment capital of the Midwest. Live music for everyone. Branson has 3 beautiful, enormous lakes, water attractions, live shows, great food, and tons of entertainment. It's a perfect vacation for you and your family, or if you're retired and you want to have a great time. And you can stay in Branson for as low as $99 a night. Please understand, this is not a timeshare offer. It's a real vacation for as little as $99 a night. We've got a free vacation guide we want to send you right now. All you have to do is call for complete details. Get your free Branson, Missouri guide right now by calling this number.
800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. 800-413-3953. That's 800-413-3953. 5-3.
Unlimited Good Works is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Their tireless efforts each and every day will never go unnoticed. Visit DAV.org to see how you can donate to our disabled veterans and make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Unlimited Good Works, serving Manchester and Nashville with quality service and pride. For residential remodeling and handyman services, call the expert today at 931-571-1201. That's 931-571-1201. Unlimited Good Works. They're professionals who care.
The Jim Rome Show.
Man, I love Facebook. That's not in any way a time suck. It is such a valuable use of your time going on everybody else's page and posting how beautiful they look when they don't. They don't. You know they don't. Come on. Anyway, do what you want with your time. I don't want you to tell me how to spend my time. I won't say how to spend your time, but I will tell you this. Stop cropping out pictures and including yourself and then acting like, hey, my hair looked great that day. My makeup was perfect that day. Just do what I tell you. With regards to this, you'll be fine.
Weekdays from 11 to 2 on Nashville Sports Radio.
Give us a call, 615-844-5600. The McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Wrapping up the 2 o'clock hour. Thank you so much for listening to the McFarland Show. 844-5600. That is 615-844-5600. Of course, you can text us as well, even though you probably shouldn't do that right now because we're about to end our hour here in about 3.5-4 minutes. Before we do, I want to pass along a couple of things that have been going on out here in the sports world. Did you see the Atlanta Braves overnight? What an amazing game for the Bravos. The Braves were able to beat the New York Mets last night. Final score, 13-10. Game ended with a 3-run home run for the Atlanta Braves. The Braves were able to get one in the, let's see, so it was 2 in the 8th, 1 in the 9th, and 3 in the 10th. To beat the Mets out there, to beat the Metropolitans. So an amazing game, amazing comeback. A lot of excitement last night there, just off of I-75 in Atlanta. So where are the Braves now? They're 3.5 games up on the Miami Marlins, which still sounds strange to say, even though I know the name has changed for a few years. Miami Marlins still rolling off the tongue, kind of funny for me. But they're 3.5 games up on the Miami Marlins there in the NL East, and they are starting to play a little bit better at home. The Braves are now 18-14 at home, and they were much closer to 500 a few weeks ago than that. We were talking with our guy down in Atlanta about that particular stat. He said, give it a few weeks, let it even out, and then make your judgment. That's what he said, and so far it's turned out to be true. The Braves will be taking on the Washington Nationals coming up starting tonight. That game is set to take place at around 6:20, according to the information I have. The Braves will be opening up a series there with the Washington Nationals. Of course, you can catch a lot of the Braves action right here on WNSR Sports Radio 560, your home for the Braves here in Nashville. The other thing that's happening, of course, in addition to the NHL, which just had Game 3 of the NHL Stanley Cup Finals last night, where the Panthers were able to win in overtime over the Golden Knights. And, of course, tonight is Game 4 of the NBA Finals with the Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. CMA Music Fest is happening here across the city of Nashville. We also have an air show going on out in Smyrna. So a lot of people driving around and trying to hit all these events here over the next couple of days. It's just going to be incredibly busy out there on the roads. It really is. So if you're wondering why is there so much traffic, it's June in Nashville. Everybody's getting out and trying to take advantage of the weather and trying to enjoy some of the events happening around the city. There are lots of events happening, or lots of concerts, I should say, happening around the city. They've got 5 different stages set up all across downtown, and they've got concerts every night at Nissan Stadium. The headliners, the big names for the concerts, don't start until after 11 p.m. They don't start their set until after 11 p.m. That shows you where we are as far as how late some of these concerts run. So if you're wondering about the traffic, don't say no one told you. It's happening and going down this weekend downtown Nashville because of the CMA Music Fest. All right. When we come back, we're going to hear some of the best radio interviews that we've done over the last few weeks, and that includes from the Vanderbilt head coach, Tim Corbin, and Titans general manager, Rand Carthen. This is the McFarland Show. This This is Sports Radio 560 WNSR. We are Nashville Sports Radio.
.560 AM, 95.9 FM, Brentwood, Nashville, 107.9 FM, Smyrna, Nashville's first 24-hour sports station. WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
ABC News, I'm Marina Roy. The Justice Department unsealing the federal criminal indictment against former President Trump. It outlines more than 36 counts against Trump over his handling of the classified documents, including willful retention, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and false statements. ABC's Pierre Thomas says the allegations involve sensitive military and intelligence information.
It's complete with pictures. There are examples of how the documents were removed as well, and also the story that we were talking about in terms of the audio recording in which Trump describes, having taken classified documents from the White House, and clearly knowing that he should not talk about any of this information, and just a stunning example of facts laid out brick by brick by the Justice Department.
Ukrainian sources report heavy fighting against Russian forces in southern and Russian-occupied territories. This is ABC News.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-330-1991. That's 1-800-330-1991. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-330-1991. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
All new spring deals are here at Lowe's. Start planting your garden this weekend with Bonnie 11.8-ounce vegetables. Buy 4 for $10. Plus, liven up your patios and decks with fresh blooms. Select 1.5-gallon hanging baskets or 2 for $16. Lowe's knows spring. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offers valid through 5/17. In-store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. While supplies last, excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
Today is the day. Today is the day you empty your garage and closets of your old tech. Today is the day you hang up on that dial-up modem. Today is the day you tell that old GPS to get lost. Because while Staples recycles old tech for free each and every day, today, during Staples' free Tech Take Back, Rewards members get $10 in Staples Rewards when they recycle their tech. Cut the cord on your old tech and recycle it at Staples. N617. Limit 1 reward per month. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/recycling for details.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call or text now. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Call us or send us a text on the WNSR text line. 615-844-5600. 615-844-5600. Call or text. Same number.
Oh, righty there.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Welcome back. Sports Radio 560 WNSR. And I am Justin McFarland, one half of the McFarland Show. Darren McFarland out today. He'll be back on Monday. Look forward to seeing him, as I'm sure he'll have stories to tell from wherever and whatever he might be doing. And, I was out the week before. It's okay. We can take time off. It's spring/summer. People have places to go. It's okay. We're still here for you, and we're ready to talk sports if you would like to do so with us this afternoon, 615-844-5600. You can also text us at that same number as we're broadcasting live from the Strike and Spare studio. Spent a lot of time on the Tennessee Titans in the last hour, and we're going to continue that theme right now. A few weeks ago, we had a chance to catch up with Rand Carthen. He is the brand new general manager for the Tennessee Titans. We caught up with Mr. Carthen right after the NFL draft. Here's our conversation with the Titans general manager.
Been the biggest challenge for you as GM?
I say the biggest challenge is those 3 to 5 things that come up daily that you're not prepared for, right? You can have, a crisp, tip-top calendar of things that you need to get done, but it's always those 3 to 5 things that come up daily that you don't have on your radar, that you have to be able to pivot, be able to, address those things as needed, but then also be able to keep your schedule, So that's been a challenge. And like you said, it's my first time in this role. I've been in this league a long time. I've been, part of the supporting cast. And, in the supporting cast role, you can give all the opinions in the world, but the decision is not yours and you're not on the hook for it.
That's right.
And so now, whether right or wrong, every decision we make as a team, is directly tied to, myself. So, that's been an adjustment, but it's been great. Like I said, we had great people here, great team to work with, not only the scouts, but the coaches as well. And just the camaraderie that we already have and the collaboration that we've shown throughout our process, makes everything in the transition smooth.
Okay, so I've got to know, is collaboration your word, or was that word already? I mean, we've heard collaboration more than I think I've heard in my 50-something years on Earth since, in this offseason. That word has been the phrase.
It is the word of the year for the Titans right now.
So is that your word,
collaboration,
Rand, or was that already here and you've become groomed to the word collaboration?
I would say it's our word.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
another collaborative phrase there. Thank you, man. It's our word. It's not nobody. No, it's our word. Together, we've collaborated and come up with this.
So we went through the dictionary and we were all looking for a word to use. No, I'm joking. But in all honesty, it's a word we used a lot in San Francisco, right? And so I think that's where the alignment, kind of became organic is, throughout the interview process, me leaning on what I knew and what I felt like makes, a good organization. And it already being a point of emphasis for, the organization prior to me interviewing or me being hired. And so I think that allowed our conversations to go smooth because we all, knew and felt the importance of being collaborative in the process. So I can't take, credit for it. I just think it's just something that Miss Amy wanted to implement, and it was something that we were taught and what we leaned on in San Francisco.
Fair enough. The day after the first round, so Friday's show here, we had Northwestern's offensive line coach on, and, he blew us away. Obviously, he was very, very high on Peter Skoronski and really, really sold him up. I mean, we got off. I mean, when he got hung up, it was like, dang, I see why they drafted him. But you also expect that from the position coach, right? But obviously, you guys had to feel a certain way too, to take him when you did. What were some things that jumped out at you on why you thought that was the move for you guys in the first round?
For us, our mantra and what you're going to start hearing more than collaboration is, speed, violence, and versatility, which is what we're going to be looking for when looking to build this team. Now, when you say speed, you don't necessarily think offensive line, but, we felt like Peter had, good speed at his position and to execute the blocks that are required to play in our scheme. He is a violent player. And what I mean, when you hear violent, it takes this certain connotation, in terms of like aggression or, even the lack of a better way to put it, hitting a defenseless player or crackback or peelback block. But another way to describe it is a player that plays with intent, and so he displays that. And then his versatility, the big question is, can he play tackle? Can he play guard? His arm length, I think one thing Peter does well is he plays offensive line. That's the simplest way to be able to put it. But not only that, man, you got a great person that fits our culture, that was seamless, transition to take a guy like that. I mean, we didn't think he would even be there for us, at 11, and to be staring him in the face at that pick, it was just an easy move to make.
By the way, are those shirts going to be in the pro shop this season? Speed, violence, versatility. I like it.
We got to get Mike to copyright it first.
Okay. Copyright it
for
and
all
put
those
those
people
shirts
that are listening, we got the paperwork. It's already in. Don't do it. You will get denied from the Library of Congress. We got it covered.
I like it. Another thing for me before I turn this over to Justin is we had Liam Cohen on that Monday show after you guys on Friday traded up and you took Kentucky quarterback Will Levis. And we had a very, very interesting and candid conversation with him. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question I have for you, Rand, is I'm not in the room. You're in the room, so to speak, whether it's at the facility or all the meetings and all the stuff you did, your homework for these draft picks. I'm just trying to read a room. And the thing that's really interesting to me, and we've talked about this on the show, is how Will Levis became a lightning rod figure. We're in SEC country. It's not, we watched a lot of his games. I grew up in Lexington, by the way. And that has nothing to do with this question. But how did he become, to me, reading a room means there's something we don't know on how he become. People have an opinion one way or the other. It doesn't mean they're right or wrong. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. But how did he become this guy that's, certainly everybody's got an opinion on?
Man, that's when you find the answer to that, let me know.
Okay, so you're a little bit confused too?
Yeah, and so, but again, it's also too, and everybody's forming their opinion off of what you see on TV or a social media post or whatever the case may be. We get to spend time with these kids. We get to go into the schools and talk to people that touch these guys every day. And then, we have the ability to bring guys in our building and spend an entire day with them. So we get to see, a different side of them. And Will was a guy that we always felt comfortable with. Will is, hyper competitive. He's a guy he's a worker, and he's going to put in as much time as he needs, to get to whatever it is he's trying to do. And so when you have those things, again, like we said with Peter, it makes it easy, to make that call. But just in terms of other people's opinion about the person, I have no idea. I have no clue. I just know that when we met with Will, we liked the person that we met with.
Rand, the big question among a lot of the fan base when you talk about the Tennessee Titans is, and we hear it all the time here on the McFarland Show, the Titans are rebuilding. So the Titans have got to do X, Y, and Z. Well, the Titans are in a rebuild year. So, the Titans need to be looking at this. It's about time for the Titans, I think, to get with the rebuild program and continue with their rebuild program. You're the general manager of the team. Is the team rebuilding?
No, I don't think so. I just think, everybody has an opinion, right? That's the day and age we live in. That's what social media was about, was giving people a voice who otherwise wouldn't have a voice, and give them the ability to make, comments and add thoughts to things that they otherwise wouldn't. Whether we're in a rebuild or not, I don't know. I don't think so. But one thing I know is that when we take the field, whether that's in August or whether it starts in September, we're going to have a competitive bunch of guys that's going to play their ass off, and then we have one of the best coaches, in the NFL that's going to have these guys ready to play ball. And that, in the grand scheme of things, we're not trying to make any predictions in terms of, we're going to win the AFC South and we're going to win the Super Bowl. The one thing that I know Mike and I are trying to do is field a football team that's built in our core values, that's built in Miss Amy's core values, and give this state, this city and this region something to be proud of.
Brandon, we hear something else all the time as well, and that is that this is a passing league. It's a quarterback's league. Do you necessarily believe that the way to win games is to go through more of a passing philosophy, which is something that, just to be honest, this football team has not had? We've had 3 of the best running backs in the last 25 years playing this city. We've been extremely blessed to see it. We've had a couple of good quarterbacks, but do you believe that this is a passing league and that teams who need to be successful need to be more of a passing team first?
Honestly, I think it's dependent on that organization's philosophy. I think each team is built in the image of the head coach and what they want. Coming from where I came from, we made it to the Super Bowl throwing less than 20 passes the whole playoffs. So, and we were within 7 minutes of beating one of the best passing attacks in this league, playing our brand of football. So I think it's, that old saying, it's, a bunch of different ways to skin the cat. I think you have to just stay true to your identity and true to your build. And, of course, the quarterback position is taking a vital role in our league as, they touch the ball every play, and we see what these guys are getting paid nowadays, at that position. But I think more than anything, I think no matter who the quarterback is, I've never seen a quarterback, whether it's the greatest of all time, I've never seen a quarterback play and win games by himself. So it's our job to continue, whether we have, Joe Montana at quarterback or, whomever we have at quarterback, we have to continue to surround, that player with other good players. And I think, like right now in my office, they have on the screen, they're showing, this compilation from Coach Noel, and I'm watching, Terry Bradshaw, and then you look at all the Hall of Famers that were surrounded by Terry Bradshaw. It was Stallworth, it was Franco, it was Lynn Swann, so it's not just on one person, it's a football team.
So,
by the way, that would have been a nice team to build, right? That was pre-salary cap.
Yeah, well,
right.
The rules were a little different back then.
You could do whatever you
wanted.
wanted.
Rules were a touch different. But, Rand, you said it depends on the team's philosophy or their core values. What is the key philosophy and core values of this football team?
That's, like I said before, speed, violence, versatility. And I think, and again, when you're thinking about, since we were talking about the quarterback position.
Yes, sir.
And when we talk about versatility, yes, it's versatility in its, in its sense of, can you play multiple positions? But the versatility piece also comes in your ability to execute different techniques to win, and not only win the game, but win your positional battles. If you're a pass rusher, how many different ways can you win as a rusher? Do you have a counter move? Those type of things. If you're an offensive lineman, yes, can you play multiple positions? But also, how are you setting against speed? How are you setting and redirecting versus counters? How are you anchoring versus power? That's all versatility. And then the same thing with a quarterback. Can you stand in the pocket and deliver the ball? Can you switch arm angles and throw in those tight windows and get, passes out? Can you play on the perimeter? Can you, tuck the ball and run and get us positive yards? So that's, again, speed, violence, versatility, that's the image of the Tennessee Titans.
How can you tell if a player, a college player, or even a pro player, how can you tell if a guy loves football? And that sounds like an unusual question maybe, but we run into situations across the NFL, and I'm sure you see it way more than we could ever possibly imagine, of guys who are literally just trying to get a check, and guys who really, really love the game. How can you tell when someone really loves football?
I think that starts with the tape, right? Because before you ever get a chance to go into school, you're watching them, and you can see how hard a guy plays, how a player strains. How what level of urgency they play with. And then from there, you go into these schools, and then now you get to watch them practice. You get to see how they practice. You get to see, how they interact with their teammates. How competitive are they in drills? Are they at the front of the line? If they get beat, how quick are they to jump back up there to get another shot at it? And then it's leaning on your resources, your relationships that you have at different schools, other teams. I've been blessed to have a wide network. So, being able to talk to coaches, and my number one question, especially if I have a personal relationship with the coach, is when I go in the room, before I ever hear about, whether the person is from a two-parent home or whatever the case may be, I ask, my contact, is this guy one of us, right? And if I hear that the guy's one of us, then we can proceed forward, with the information. And so, there's, like I said, you can watch the tape, but, we're able to go into the school. And then you're fortunate enough you get to meet some of these guys at all-star games. You get to meet with them at the combine. You get to meet with them in person. You bring them in your building for the top 30 visit. So if you have those questions, you can find ways to press them, to find the answer out.
Rand Carthen, last but not least for me, and what I appreciate, Rand Carthen, the Titans general manager, speaking there. And yes, I continue to ask Rand questions and things like that. I did. We asked Rand about wide receivers and all kinds of things. And we are gracious that he spent some time with us to try to let us know about a few of the things happening there with the Tennessee Titans. Brand new general manager, and we appreciated having him on. Wanted to stop, though, because we want to give time to another important voice, and that is the voice of Tim Corbin, the Vanderbilt baseball coach, which we will do so when we come back. This is the McFarland Show. This is Sports Radio 560 WNSR. When we come back, we're going to be hearing from Tim Corbin, the head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
Greg Polk back once again to tell you about Bongo Java, Nashville's oldest and most celebrated coffee company, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel. Bongo Java's expert baristas take pride in their trade, serving up fresh, locally roasted coffee, classic handcrafted espresso, drinks, and fresh baked goods all day long. Start your day with an American or cold brew, or for a taste of Music City, grab a West End latte flavored with local honey and cinnamon. A Breakfast Club biscuit or an everything all-at-once sandwich will fill you up and let you focus on your day. Bongo Java also has you covered for lunch with tasty deli sandwiches served on fresh-baked ciabatta bread like the I'll Have What She's Having or the Godfather. Bongo Java, open 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. Enjoy a fresh cup of Bongo Java in the heart of Music City. Bongo Java is the Nashville way to start the day. Bongo Java in the Omni Nashville Hotel, downtown 5th Avenue, Music City.
Here at Total Wine & More, our amazing selection means you'll always
love what you find.
Dad, what are you doing here?
Just getting a sneak peek at my Father's Day gifts.
Well, I was thinking of getting you this Barrel Select bourbon.
That's a really nice bottle.
And Total Wine has it at the totally lowest price.
Wow. You always were my favorite.
Thanks, Dad.
Talking to the bourbon, sweetie.
Find what you love what you find. Like the perfect gift for Dad at the perfect price. Only at Total Wine & More.
And drink responsibly. B21.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tennessee Pro Solutions is on the air saluting the brave men and women of our U.S. military. Visit DAV.org to see how you can donate to our disabled veterans and make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Tennessee Pro Solutions, serving Middle Tennessee with quality and pride for over 8 years. For commercial and residential roofing, excavation, and remodeling, call 615-389-3390. That's 615-389-3390. Tennessee Pro Solutions. They're professionals who care.
Behind some strong defense, clutch pitching, and a booming offense, this 2023 Brave squad is reminding the league who they are.
1-0 pitch. Ground ball weakly up the third base line. Riley charges, bare hands, throws over, and got him! Oh, baby!
Tonight, the division battles roll on from Truist Park in Atlanta as Ozzie Albies and the Braves take on the Washington Nationals.
Coverage begins tonight at 6:05 on your home for the Atlanta Braves, Nashville Sports Radio. You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Sports Radio 560 WNSR. We are Nashville Sports Radio, and I am Justin McFarland. Thrilled to be here with you as we are continuing on this afternoon, listening to some of the best interviews that we've had here on the radio station over the past little bit. Of course, we're always taking your phone calls as well. 615-844-5600 if you would like. 615-844-5600. That's our text line as well if you want to text in to the McFarland Show. Darren, off today. I'm here. Still plenty to talk about here with you. One of the things that we would like to be talking about is the Vanderbilt Commodores in the College World Series. Unfortunately, that is not the case. Vanderbilt's season ended thanks to a loss a few weeks ago down the street from us over at Hawkins Field. The guys in the morning, John Burton, Greg Pogue, they were able to catch up with the Vanderbilt baseball coach, the legendary Tim Corbin. Tim Corbin talking about some of the things that happened this season and, of course, probably a little fun as well.
Yeah, I knew this would get confusing. I just knew it. All right, let me just clear something up real fast, and then we'll get to Evie. Penn State has 0 protected opponents.
All right, everybody. Obviously, that is not the right clip we were looking for there, but we are going to get to that here. Tim Corbin spoke with John Burton and Greg Pogue a little bit earlier this morning. Actually, it was yesterday is when they spoke. And, of course, he's the head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores, and he's talking about the season that they had. And Jonah, do we have it now? All right, let's hear from the coach.
Vanderbilt baseball coach Tim Corbin all season long has joined us Thursday in this time slot, and in about 15 minutes, the head voluntary assistant baseball coach at Vanderbilt, Maggie Corbin, will be joining us. So we just might as well just shoot straight to that if you want to, or we can bring Tim in for a little while.
Yeah, we'll talk to Tim
okay.
first.
All right, Tim, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, Corbs.
Good guys. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, you said Maggie will not behave, might not behave. So we just, tell her to behave.
Yeah, she's very Midwestern, so very black and white, that's for sure.
Hey, not playing right now, it always leaves you wanting more. Just some overall thoughts where you sit today?
Disappointment for the kids. I think, you feel like when you get a team that does things well and does things consistently in a lot of different areas, that they probably deserve more, at least if you're a parent. In my case, a coach, you think that your kids deserve a little bit more. And the game does know. It knows what you put into it. It knows how you invest in it. But, we were short in some areas, and it showed. But that's not going to take away from, the real passionate fan is going to be disappointed too, and I get that. Not as disappointed as us because we're in the middle of it. But the thing, much fun with this team as we've had with any team here, and I think when you have a team that creates harmony in the locker room, off the field, socially, and for the most part on the field, then you'd really like it to last a little bit longer. But it doesn't, and that's part of it. One team wins. There's 300 other teams that don't, and we're just that one team that lost earlier than the rest. So, we move forward with it and go on. But, these exit meetings here last 3 days, this is the only time where it feels like a job. It's, rest of the year it doesn't. But this right now, there's a lot of sadness and there's a lot of emotion, and they've been together every night. So, they're not the team that is out of Dodge the minute the game's over, I mean, you can see how good the environment was just based on how much time they're spending with one another. They're not talking about the damn portal. They're not talking about things that, this has a lot of meaning to them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, Coach. I mean, a lot of emotion from you Sunday after the game, and you talk about just the disappointment for the kids. I know that, you like to project a lot of the success of this program to the kids. I mean, what were you feeling that night, when you were talking after the game and the emotion you showed? Does that kind of speak to what you were just talking to us about, just feeling so bad for the kids and that, the journey's over?
Yeah, it's the end. I mean, I don't know how to get around that. I'm not going to get around it. I'm not going to pretend, and I'm not going to play like, it's an emotion right there. And so 30 minutes after a game, even at age 61, I'm not equipped to really sit down and logically explain what just happened.
Right.
It's like, no, it's a death punch, when it comes to a team, let's put things in perspective. We're talking about sport here. We're not talking about, but it is life, and it is part of life, and it's part of these kids' experience. But, when it's, I've said the same thing, so it's not new, but it's, you're driving a car as fast as you can, and then all of a sudden, bam, it's over, and it stops, and the trip is over, and you hand the keys over to someone else, and then you have to break it down. And, the next day is the toughest, when you have the final meeting with the team, and, that it's tough to put everything in words because they're not prepared for that. They're prepared to keep living with one another for another 3 or 4 weeks, but it didn't work out that way. So you take the experiences that you have and you move forward with them.
Tim, through all that, I have heard no excuses, but down the stretch, not having your top 2 pitchers, your Friday, Saturday pitchers, not available, then available, but not to where they were before they became unavailable. I'm not hearing that.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, Greg, it would be nice to have your complement of pitchers, and we just had to work around that. As I told the kids too, and I wanted them to know this. The teams that have gone to Omaha, have gone a distance, have had 3 guys with over 90 innings, and we only had 1 guy with over 80 innings, and that was the first time ever. And then the next closest person to him was 60. So, we had to work around that throughout the year, and we did fine. We did fine. I think at the end, offensively, we just couldn't muster up enough offense. I think our spirit was broken a little bit when we played Oregon and lost to Oregon, and we really never rebounded after that. But, at the same time, it's not going to diminish how I feel about these guys, nor should it diminish how they feel about themselves, because their effort levels and, like I said, you get to the ballpark every day, and they just give you the best they possibly can. There's no off moments. You're not chasing them down off the field. They're not missing class. They're just doing all the right things. And, yeah, I know that doesn't show up on a scoreboard, but you know what? It makes the environment better. And we've been on championship teams that weren't as much fun as this one, and so it just dignifies again that holding up a gold trophy at the end of the year does not dignify always. It dignifies ending success on a scoreboard and against opponents, but it doesn't always dignify the environment, and this environment was very good.
Coach, will you flip around and watch the Super Regionals this weekend, or do you need to kind of get away from everything for a while?
Yeah, I'll probably watch some of it. I'm not one of those that completely shuts it down. I've got to be in Omaha anyway for meetings next week. So, I'll be in Omaha and maybe watch some of the games. But, yeah, I'll watch some of them just from a general interest standpoint. But, that's all I do anyway. It's, Matt and I watched softball last night. I mean, I'm friends with Patty Gasso at Oklahoma and enjoy what she does and enjoy that environment too. So I guess, if college baseball or softball are on, I'll watch some of it really, because there's really, besides recruiting and camps coming up, that's really all we're part of right now.
Vanderbilt baseball coach Tim Corbin with us. His wife Maggie is going to be joining us right after this segment. Tim, you to use your words a few moments ago, the damn portal, the NIL, the collectives, the extra pandemic year everybody got, the certainly the NIL and the collectives have changed the landscape immediately. And then you took advantage of a transfer portal. I mean, R.J. Schreck, I saw where yesterday was named Academic All-American, and certainly the addition to your roster from a Duke. The landscape has changed in player acquisition and management. How are you going to take that into the future?
We'll do it on our terms, and our terms are somewhat difficult because the transfer that can transfer to Mississippi State, and I shouldn't have said Mississippi State, but really any school in the SEC can't transfer to Vanderbilt. Those credit hours don't transfer. So someone who, it's easy to say, all right, you guys got to go into a portal. You got to redo your ways. No, we're not going to do that. If we can find someone like an R.J. Schreck that helps us, but there's a lot of factors to it. I mean, academically, they got to get in school, and most can't. So when a guy runs their transcripts through us, it shows up as if they've got 50 credit hours, and then Vanderbilt runs a check of it, and they come back to us. They go, no, he's only got 32 because a lot of his other classes won't transfer over to Vanderbilt. So getting a transfer A to come to Vanderbilt is very difficult, number one, academically. Number two, there's a cost associated with it, obviously, and you just can't roll out scholarship money, or our financial aid doesn't take care of everything. And there's other funds that are being used to acquire players, and we don't necessarily have those. Those aren't excuses. Those are just facts of how you have to deal with it. So I think the thing that we want to continue doing is, and I think the thing that I'm not going to say has hurt Vanderbilt baseball, but we did lose 6 guys in the first round last year, high school kids, and that adds up over time. And we need to, as best we possibly can, continue to recruit the best players in the country and focus on them, and then continue to develop them and keep them. And if we can do that, then that puts us kind of in the environment that we want to be in, and that is developing kids for 3 and 4 years. The 1-year player, can it help your team? Yeah, it can help your team, but it can also be disruptive too. And I know that's not what we signed up for when we took on the role of teacher coach. It was you bring them into a university to get an education. And we've got a system now where you're borrowing someone's abilities for a year, but they're really not getting an education. They're just they might say they are, but they're taking maybe 28 hours, 30 hours, maybe, and getting in there and then leaving after it. So I don't know. It's very tempting to want to get the next best thing that's out there, but at the same time, I think it can be done with logic. I think it can be done with control and command within the guys that you have internally. And if you need to get 1 or 2 that might fit academically, athletically, well, it might help your team, but you got to be careful about that too.
Well, you certainly hit with RJ. There's no doubt about that. And now academic All-American as well. We're going to take a break, and when we come back after it, Maggie and Coach Tim coming up.
All right, everybody. That was John Burton and Greg Pogue talking with the head coach of the Vanderbilt Commodores there, Tim Corbin, talking about their baseball season, which unfortunately ended, and the way that college baseball and college sports really is changing across the entire landscape. I know we have a caller, Tony, who calls about it all the time, the NIL and the transfer portal and all of that, and how it's changed the nature of the game. And it really has, as Coach was just talking about right there. And the ability to try and hold on to players, not just recruit them, but hold on to them once you get them to campus is one of the things that Coach was addressing there about how to get this team to move forward here at some point once they get back for next season. So we'll see how the Commodores do. When we come back, we're going to hear from more of the Titans coaches. This time, the defensive coordinator, Shane Bowden's going to speak out about some of the things he's been working on. This is the McFarland Show, Sports Radio 560 WNSR.
Nashville, start your engines. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is coming to the streets of downtown Nashville. Experience 3 days of racing, music, family fun zone, food trucks, and more. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix is August 4th through August 6th. From stadium super trucks flying through the air to open wheel IndyCar racing that turns right. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix has something for every race fan. There's music all day, every day. And don't miss the Friday and Saturday night concert under the stars. And they have rides for the kids provided by Wesley Mortgage. The streets of Music City come alive August 4th through August 6th. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. Grab your tickets before they're gone and log on to musiccitygp.com. The Big Machine Music City Grand Prix. It's more than a race. It's a festival.
Do you ever feel like gambling is causing financial strain or hurting your relationships? The Gambling Clinic has been helping people who want to change their gambling habits for over 2 decades. With physical clinics and remote online appointments, we're here to help you make informed decisions about your gambling so it doesn't lead to a bigger problem. Visit us at thegamblingclinic.com so we can work together to help you win your life back. This project is funded by the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. 800-649-0142. That's 800-649-0142.
Staples has everything your business needs all in one place. Shipping supplies and services so you can fill orders from all over in one stop. Plus professional print and marketing services at your fingertips. And now during Staples Small Business Deal Days, when rewards members spend $100 or more, they get $20 back in rewards plus another $10 back with the Staples Connect app. And you'll find new deals in store every week on tech, chairs, and shipping supplies. Get everything for your business for less at Staples. Rewards offer ends 5/27. Limit 1. Redeemable in-store only.
Sports fans, listen to Youth Connect on Monday nights at 6 and hear me, Seagull Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby and Darren McFarland.
Hey, listen to Youth Connect on Monday nights from 6 until 7 o'clock as we highlight high-level trainers, coaches, and players in and around Middle Tennessee. Give us a call at 615-844-5600. We live video stream all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
And hear me, Seagull Boys basketball coach Matt Rigsby.
And hear me, Darren McFarland, live on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
You're listening to The McFarland Show live on WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
Sports Radio 560 WNSR. We are Nashville Sports Radio. This is The McFarland Show. My name is Justin McFarland. Darren McFarland has the day off. He'll be back on Monday. You can give us a call, 615-844-5600. That's 615-844-5600. You can text us as well at that same number, 615-844-5600, as we are in the Strike and Spare studios this afternoon. We've been listening to some of the interviews that we've done over the past few weeks and months. We've heard from Rand Carthen. We've heard from Tim Corbin. We heard from Kevin Byard at the top of the 2 o'clock hour. Now we're going to be hearing from Shane Bowden. Shane Bowden is the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. This is his 4th year with the team. They asked him how it felt to have Kevin Byard back on the field.
I'd say as expected, like I mentioned last week or a couple weeks ago, no reservations about him not being here, just in terms of his ability to be ready to go when he did get here. So it's good to see him back out there. The energy, I think the guys feed off him. I think it's really good for that DB group, some younger guys, some new pieces. So to get his voice in there is always a benefit for them. So it was good to see him back out here moving around.
Speaking of that group, and you touched on this too, but kind of after Kevin and Amani, not a ton of experience there. What's kind of the challenge of maybe working some guys up?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of competition really behind those two guys who played a lot of football for us. And I mean, obviously with Hook, we've had some injury things here and there at times, and he's played some different spots for us. His versatility's come into play for us, especially last year. So I think that third and fourth safety spot is up for grabs right now, So we're working some different guys there. Molden's getting some work back there as well, trying to utilize his versatility and what value he can bring to us defensively. But it's going to be interesting as this thing plays out through the next couple of weeks and then the training camp where that thing goes.
What can Kristen Fulton do to keep, I guess, progressing even though he's not out there? And what's your communication like with him during this stretch?
Yeah, I think with all these guys, when they're not out there going, it's what you can do. You got to focus on what you can do, being engaged in meetings, doing everything you can to improve whatever it is that you can when you're not on the field, right? So I think he's been in there, he's learning. Obviously with Chris being new, that's a little bit of an adjustment for all those guys. So getting them back around him, and then just communicate with Sean Murphy Bunting, the younger safeties, the younger corners. I think all that stuff's valuable right now that he's not missing out on, even though he's not out on the field.
Of the new additions to the locker room on the defensive side, who is sticking out the most to you as far as their leadership and maybe their impact, what their impact will be?
Yeah, I think all the additions we've signed in free agency have shown up in different ways throughout this offseason. Aziz, he's the ultimate pro. Every single day he comes into work, he talks to other guys, he coaches other guys. He asks really good questions on what's going on with us schematically. I think you feel Arden out there. Like, you feel him, his ability to rush, his ability to affect the quarterback. Like, it's noticeable, and it's been noticeable here throughout these OTAs. So hopefully that continues. And then obviously with Sean, like, just the size, the speed, all those elements, he's challenging, he's competing. So all that stuff's been good. I'm pleased with all those guys.
How much does the addition of a guy like that line up inside, outside, pretty much everywhere, along with archery, like how much does that open up things for your defense?
Yeah, it gives us a lot of versatility, and I think the other great thing about that, TD, is just the depth. We can plug and play if something happens one week, which unfortunately the past 2 years has been more than we would like, right? But there's guys that can go in there and fill those roles, and we got depth outside, we got depth inside, even if it's just potentially one person doing it, So that versatility is a huge piece. It adds a lot of value. It makes things a little less, I would say, complicated for us when we do have to transition if we get an injury or somebody's out for whatever reason.
Coming back from his injury, seems like he's getting a little more reps with
Yeah,
the other guys out.
Getting back in swinging. It's good to see him back out here. It's been a long journey for him, kind of getting back to where he's at now. He's challenging, he's competing, knocking the rust off early. I felt first few days out here. It was good to see him out here yesterday. I thought he had his best day yesterday, so hopefully that continues.
Coach, how's Harold doing?
Good, great. It was his birthday on Monday, so rookie saying happy birthday yesterday. But he's good, he's engaged, he's around, he's in meetings, doing everything he can right now.
Anybody taking over the pieing with Ben gone?
Not yet. So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. But right now, I think Harold escaped on Monday.
You spoke of with Kevin Byard, right, business as usual. But there's another guy on this team, Jeffrey Simmons. How can you speak to how he's grown as a leader on this defense?
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight with those guys. I was having this conversation yesterday just about Jeff from year one, dealing with the ACO, starting late, to year two, what he kind of was coming into his own and figuring it out to progress into where he's at now. And he's our guy that sets the tone. Ultimately, we want to be physical, we want to be relentless. You see that from him every snap. I would put a lot of money on it that there's not another D lineman in the league that plays as hard as Jeffrey Simmons play in and play out. And when you get that from a D lineman, it resonates throughout the unit, right? So I think his play style is exactly what we're looking for in terms of defensive football here. And then I think the vocal aspect, being able to hold guys accountable, he's growing with that. He has, and he's not afraid to do that. And I think, obviously, he's became a veteran. Like, he was young with Daquan Jones and some of those old Jarrell Casey, some of those older guys who were good examples for him early on of what it looks like to be a leader here. And I think he learned from them, understand kind of how he's progressed and what his role is for us defensively.
How is it to have Danico Autry back? And I'm just curious, like, he goes about his business in kind of a quiet way, right? But what is he like inside those meeting rooms? And he brings so much knowledge, I feel like, to the table.
Yeah, it's great to have him back. He's the old savvy vet. He's fun to be around. He's a country dude who's into fishing, hunting, all that type of stuff. So a little bit different personality, some of these other guys. But he's relatable to everybody. I think he's got a unique story, unique perspective that resonates with a lot of guys because he went undrafted and he's fought his butt off to be where he's at this point. And then I think finding the success late in his career also is a testament to who he is and the way he works, whether it's here, whether it's somewhere else. He's been ready to go. And again, he's another guy right now with us that when he comes back in, it's easy, right? It's an easy fit, easy to get him back out there, to get him playing with the guys just because he's familiar with what we've done and where we're going.
All the changes that are going on offense and maybe the up-tempo, how will that maybe help your defense get ready for the season?
Yeah, I think anytime you can put us in stressful situations, it's good for us right now. That's what practice is for. We know it's never going to be perfect out here, but all the different challenges that they're presenting to us right now, it's only going to benefit us in the long run. It might not be what I like to see every day out here right now in the spring, but at the same time, I know it's one thing that we're going to see now that might come a little bit easier to us.
Shane Bowden talking there at the Titans press conference just yesterday and talking about some of the things he's looking forward to here this season for his group. He is now the veteran coach on that staff as he enters year 4 for the Tennessee Titans. And in that time, he's now seen 3 offensive coordinators while he's been there the whole time. So that's interesting as well. All right, we're going to wrap up the McFarland Show on a Friday. When we come back, you're listening to WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hey, Tennessee, when you bet on Zen Sports, the new sportsbook in town, you get the best reward possible, cold, hard cash. You bet with your own money, so why accept anything less from your rewards program? With Zen Sports, you earn cash on your bets, cash on your referrals bets, and a welcome bonus in, you guessed it, cash. So stop settling for Vegas rewards when we're in Tennessee. Cash in your old sportsbook for Zen Sports. Your wallet will thank you later. Zen Sports. Betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and up and in Tennessee to bet.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Post-COVID travel is on a surge. Many of you are traveling for fun because you've been locked up for 2 years. Listen, whether you're traveling for fun to Italy, Greece, Spain, France, or somewhere else fun in the world, or USA, now is a great time to book before the crowds hit and save. Plus, with a strong U.S. dollar, you'll get more travel bang for your buck. Right now is a smart time to make your reservations and call low-cost airlines. With one phone call, you can let us do all the work for free. We'll shop hundreds of airlines, hotels, resorts, and give you a way to save huge money on your vacation plans. And if you call right now, we'll give you a free hotel room with a qualified travel purchase. So call right now.
800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. 800-704-1662. That's 800-704-1662.
And now, Quick Flow HVAC LLC is reminding Americans to show support to the brave men and women who serve our U.S. military. Visit USO.org and locate Military Care Package and see how you can make a difference today. This message is brought to you by Quick Flow HVAC LLC, your local HVAC contractor. For all your HVAC needs, give the pros a call today at 615-326-7031. That's 615-326-7031. Quick Flow HVAC LLC. They're professionals who care.
This is the Greg Vogue and John Burton Show.
These are on True TV.
If you have Xfinity, just say True TV into your remote. It'll pop right up.
I tell my TV to do things, and it does.
Yeah, well, the things you ask your TV to do, I mean, you know.
Yeah, well, ever since I can't get Skinamax anymore.
Greg Vogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Honest opinions, genuine conversations. The McFarland Show.
Sports Radio 560 WNSR. We are Nashville Sports Radio. I'm Justin McFarland, one half of the McFarland Show. Darren McFarland will be back coming up on Monday, and I'm sure we'll have all kinds of interesting things to get into when Darren gets back. Today, we've been playing all kinds of interviews that we've had from the past few days or weeks. We've heard from Rand Carthen today. We have heard from Tim Corbin today. We've heard from Kevin Byard today. We've heard from both of the Titans coordinators today. We've also talked a little bit about Game 4 of the NBA Finals coming up tonight. The Denver Nuggets taking on the Miami Heat down there in Miami for Game 4. Of course, Denver holds a 2-1 series advantage. We'll see if they can hit this critical Game 4 here and take a serious advantage. If they win tonight, they're just it's over. It's over. There's no way Miami beats them 3 straight. Miami's got to win this game tonight in order for this series to continue beyond 5 games. I think. I think if they win tonight, it's over. All right, so there's that. Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals will be coming up here a little bit later in the weekend as well. Last night, it was the Florida Panthers defeating the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They defeated them in overtime to get on the board in that series. So 2-1 in that particular series, the Golden Knights still with the advantage. And then, of course, we have to mention college baseball. College baseball, the Vanderbilt Commodores, their season unfortunately is done, but Tennessee baseball is still going for it. They will pitch tomorrow afternoon, 3 p.m., first pitch for them, as they take on Southern Miss, that game being played down there in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and it's our understanding that the game is sold out down there. Some Vol fans unhappy about that. Saw some things on social media about perhaps some of the Vol fans were not given their full allotment of tickets. There's some allegations going back and forth about that, but be that as it may, it will be a best-of-3 series between those two starting tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. down there in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. We'll see if the Vols can bring it home. Also, big news from the National Football League today. Number one, let's start with the Titans news, and that is involving DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins, the star wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals, scheduled to visit the Titans coming up here this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. He's also scheduled to go meet with the New England Patriots after his conversation with the Titans. Now, the way this could work, if the Titans make him an offer he can't refuse before he leaves the building, if he signs the contract before he leaves the building, then it's over. He doesn't have to go see New England. Just putting it out there. Sometimes they give you a contract in the building, so, there's no need to go anywhere. You ever been shopping for a car and the salesman knows you're going to go leave and go look at another car, and he's like, no, what? You don't need to go look at that car. We got everything you need right here. Just sign it right here. We're good. So we'll see what DeAndre Hopkins decides to do, whether or not he signs with the Titans, the Patriots, or somebody else. And then the other big news in the NFL today is the release of Dalvin Cook, the former Florida State star. After 6 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, he's now a free agent. He has gone for over 1,100 yards the past 4 seasons in a row, and now he is a free agent after they could not work out a deal for a trade or a contract or anything there in Minnesota. So he's out in the free agency market. We'll see who decides to go get him. The Atlanta Braves open up a series tonight against Washington. This is after a thrilling victory over the Mets last night there in Atlanta. So, of course, you can catch the Braves action right here on WNSR. Thank you for listening to the McFarland Show on a Friday. Darren and I will be back Monday at 2 o'clock.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
If you're just joining us, Perloff is putting the finishing touches on 16 ounces of peanut butter. The man is a legend. Got the closer spoon, and Andrew Perloff, like Usain Bolt, cruising to the finish line. Last bite.
I flew way too close to the sun. Now I'm going to throw up all over the sun. Something feels wrong.
Yeah. Something looks wrong.
I don't feel well. I'm glad I got through the first jar. The second jar was the biggest mistake of my entire life.
Yeah.
I was doing so good.
It took years off your life. Thank you, Ack, for correcting his grammar.
Honestly, I can choose which way to fill up. I'm definitely going to stop.
Big game 4 tonight, NBA Finals. Right now, Miami's going to have one of these patented back-against-the-wall performances, Perloff, because Denver was dominant in Game 3. They've got a 2-1 lead, and let's all be frank here. Miami loses tonight, it's over. Whether it's over in 5 or whether it's over in 6, it's going to be curtains for the Miami Heat, and you have some reasons for them to be positive.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Miami, first of all, they thrive when their back is against the wall, but that's not even it. Couple things that are left over from last game. Did you notice that Mike Malone was playing Jokic and Murray as if it was a Game 7? So they ended up playing, Jokic played 44 minutes and Murray played 45. The Heat pulled their guys at the end and they kept them in.